Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for March 9th, 2025. And I gotta tell you, if you're a Transformers fan, there was quite a bit going on at TFCon. So the vast majority of the Transformers news is TFCon. There is more past TFCon, but I gotta say, Fans Toys came out and said, who the heck is X-Transbots? Because I got a new friend of me, DX9. We'll talk about that. And then I got a bit of a love-hate relationship with Master of the Universe. I might not get into it in the full thing, but I gotta say, Mattel has done a phenomenal job with the line, and we'll talk about this. But, and yeah, there's a big but. Jada Toys coming out with some Scooby-Doo, and I gotta say, I've passed on all the Scooby-Doo stuff in the past. I might be in on this. We'll talk a little more about it. Diamond Select, the bankrupt company being sold off in pieces, is showing more stuff they're making. It's funny and scary at the same time. Then we have some Neca stuff that I didn't cover last week. I gotta say, last week was such an overload. I didn't cover it all. So there's a few pieces of carryover that I just didn't even know about when I made my last video. I knew about this, but I didn't talk about it because I was just so overloaded. I will talk a little about the Blockies stuff that's going on with Sesame Street. I did see Neca in the store, was tempted, and I might still be tempted with Neca. But more Loyal Subjects stuff, and I've gotten more information. Glad I didn't talk about this last week, because I didn't have all the information, and sometimes I hold off on that. Star Wars, there is some little bit of news, surprisingly enough, coming up. Alright, so let's talk about Show Z Store. What's new? Up for pre-order. This is the Takara Tomy Missing Link C07 RC. Now, there's the toy version. There's the cartoon version. Both are $20 down at Show Z Store. And looking on other sites, they're about $98 at other sites. I believe theirs will be a little cheaper, not much cheaper. So looking at about $100 each for these. Something that we've looked at our whole lives and never could buy. Now, I've pre-ordered one of each of these. I'm looking at getting a second one of them to keep in the package. I haven't seen package shots. Hopefully, I still have the opportunity once I get them to decide which one I want to buy a second of to keep sealed. But I think they both look great, and I equally like them. I kind of am leaning more towards the pink. They also have up for pre-order, $1 down, no price just yet. Fans Hobby MB22C Jetfire Shattered Glass version, and we're going to see more pictures of this when we get into the TFCon stuff. So those pictures are pictures I don't have at Show Z just yet, but this is up for pre-order, and I think it's quite interesting. There's a big Shattered Glass following out there, and we have the Magic Square MSO5 Night Tracer Onslaught. It is $155. I'm understanding if you contact Show Z and you pre-ordered it for the $165, they will credit your account for $10 in credit on that. I'm not sure if I got mine or not on that, but I did pre-order it at the original price point, and it dropped $10. And Show Z is really good about getting your credited back on it. Still, anyway, $155 for the main bot is not a bad price in my opinion, and I'm very impressed with what Magic Square has done so far, and we got a little more to show for Magic Square in the TFCon slides. So here's how this is going to go. I'm just going to go straight through the TFCon slides, and I'm just going to show the highlights. This is the highlight reel, and with that, I'm going to give you my thoughts on this so we can go as quick as we can but cover what's new. And this is Colorverse from the Make Toys. I call them Make Toys. And there's two other semi sort of different colors. By the way, you could probably buy the one on the left, the Wing Out, and call it your Thundercracker if you want to. Anyway, only 200 worldwide. I don't buy any of these, but some people are keeping up with them. Now, DX9 is showing off a sort of line drawing in a way of their prow. And I'm in on it. I've already got it pre-ordered. I'm buying it. I'm going to review it. I like it. I'm happy with it. And I think it's going to be way better than what Takara did. And I'm basing that on the fact that I still feel like their Sideswipe is number one. It is what it is. And looking at this, I don't feel any different. I think it looks pretty good. I'm pretty excited for it. Look forward to it. And I don't want to replace every figure I've ever bought. This is one I want to replace. Or not so much replace, but I'd be nice to see competition. DX9 Mini, getting into the Jinrai and all that kind of stuff. Power Master Optimus Prime. Now I do want to mention that we've seen this before, so this isn't new. But it is showing that it's something there in the works. Why would they include it if it's not something that's top of mind or maybe next in line? And then here it is beefed up. So we've seen Takara make theirs. We've seen KFC, which is X-Transbots, make theirs. And we see this in this form factor for Legends. And it looks good. And it's kind of strange how certain characters or certain versions of characters get a lot of attention all at the same time. It feels like that with Jinrai and Super Power Master Optimus Prime. Power Master Optimus Prime. Nice that they slipped in this picture here. Of course, they slip in a good old Brainstorm. Is that Brainstorm? Yeah, it's Brainstorm overall. Where are we with Brainstorm for the Make toys, though? All right, getting into New Age, we know about the Trailbreaker. It's nothing new. We've known about this, but, you know, it's kind of... They're showing all the different color iterations, which I will not get into that. Jumping into them making their combiner, they're taking on head-to-head Magic Square with, of course, a Minosaur. And there it is. There's the team in grayscale and... shaded. It's not out in the light, but we'll see more of it going forward. And then they've jumped into New Age is still, of course, Legends. And with that, we've got a really good Sunstreaker, and we sorely need it. I look forward to it. I will definitely be on top of this as soon as it shows up for pre-order and pre-order this guy, because we need it. The only other Legends version that I know of is the one made from Iron Factory, and it is extremely stylized. It's not a bad figure, it's just stylized. Now we get into... I gotta tell you this here. So this Sideswipe shares a lot of the things that I don't like about the fans' toys. I'm not joking, I'm not lying. A lot of people say that they feel like there's a connection there. And I'm starting to think, design-wise, there appears to be a connection there. But, you know, we'll get into that when we talk about fans' toys. And a lot of people, you know, the fanboys are going to hate me on this one. But anyway, I do want to say that with this, I think the best-looking collection for Legends is a mix between all the companies. Magic Square, McFans Toys, and New Age. So just any one company just showing off all their offerings looks okay. But you can have a much better look if you combine and mix and match, make them look better. Mechanical Studio, which is doing some Legends kind of stuff, and I put this in here because I keep forgetting what this little symbol is. Yeah, it's Mechanical Studio, so I can move into that. They're making, this is a repaint of their Starscream. I don't remember what era. Is it Armada? Something like that? Anyway, I don't remember, but it's just a repaint. I thought I had one coming to me, but I guess I didn't order it or whatever. And I don't miss it. It's funny when you order something or you think you order something and it doesn't show up, you didn't pay for it, and you don't miss it. And you're like, well, I guess I didn't miss it. But it still looks good. For what it is, this mold looks good in Legend. Also, they're working on whatever this is. I don't even know what this is, but I'm going to tell you what it feels like when you look in the alt mode. The alt mode is what really matters, right? In this one. And it feels like some sort of a G.I. Joe vehicle. G.I. Joe kind of missile launcher thing. I've got some of these from the vintage G.I. Joe stuff. And it's what it feels like, what it looks like. I might be way off. Touch Toys. Now, I find this very fascinating because, of course, I love Show Z because they get you the best price. And if you collect pretty much collect pretty much everything that comes out, you end up saving so much money. It's almost like 5 free figures a year by buying from Show Z versus everywhere else. And it's funny that all these pictures have Show Z's name in it. Is Show Z the only place to get these? It's interesting. Touch Toys with this jet, and I don't even know the exact name. I just know Touch Toys, and they're making so many different versions and different figures now that it's not exactly like at first it was just the one, and now they're spreading out, making more. And I know that the distribution is pretty hard to get other places. Show Z is an easy place. TH reviewer code, of course. This guy here too, I don't even know the name, but it looks kind of cool, and it does have a G.I. Joe feel. So all this stuff kind of has a bit of a G.I. Joe feel, a little bit of maybe live action movie Transformer feel. And then we have the alt mode in it, and looks pretty cool overall. And now I will say I'm not quite ready to dip my toe into this, because I still want to complete. There's so many characters I still want done from the G1 stuff, but with this, I can still be impressed by the engineering, the ingenuity, the thought, and all the effort put into these. Then there's this guy, and I don't know the names, but they look fantastic, and it looks really good, and it might even be a repaint of the other one we saw, but this jet does look different, so looking at that, it looks pretty good. Let me just step back though, Touch Toys, and all of this. Where's a decent Masterpiece Scale Leader 1? Alright, skipping over this is the Red Destroyer. We've seen it before, Unique Toys, but Unique Toys is like, hey, look at me, I'm still here, and are you still going to buy my Blur? Because Fans Toys is putting theirs out. Well, they're putting this out. Now, I've threw this in one of my other videos, but I'm going to talk about this, and Magic Square is putting out their Onslaught. Now, I gotta say that I am beyond impressed with the first two offerings. And so many people say, oh, it's just too cartoon, too smooth. It's too perfect. I mean, I've got the Legends ones, and I feel like the Masterpiece ones are better than the Legends because the parts are bigger. It feels more solid. It feels less like you're gonna break it. And it feels like all the things people complain about in their Legends, aside from, there are still some parts and pieces that have to bend a little when you move them, but at the end of the day, it's phenomenal. They look great, and they are a super tough competitor in the Masterpiece realm. Here's the alt mode, which I won't see. Mine's going to be in combined mode, and I don't have a Masterpiece Bruticus. I got rid of the Orbitron that I had, and a buddy of mine bought it off me. I was happy to get rid of it because I was like, yeah, we're going to see another one next year. It's been 8 years since I got rid of that one, but still, this one is exactly what I've been waiting for. Here's the torso. So now I'm starting to get a little confused about what parts are included with what release and what figure. I don't know. I really don't, but I'm still stoked, super stoked to build this. They're also getting into their soup. I think this is the Masterpiece one. Let me just look. Well, crud. I was wrong. This is Legends. I'm glad I checked that because, well, I was kind of excited there. Anyhow, yeah, it still looks pretty good overall, and I guess we don't have the Legends one yet. I'm looking at my shelf. I guess I don't have a Legends one. I thought I had a Legends one. Anyway, still looks pretty good. And then I guess this will finish off their team. You know what? I'm still kind of going off all these rumors people say that we're getting these in the Masterpiece scale, and I was kind of expecting something in this showing, but maybe next TFCon we'll see something in Masterpiece scale. But I guess we all expect things to move too fast, and Swoop's my favorite. I get overexcited when I see stuff. Then we get Six Shot in Legends, and I did watch. Okay, I want to do a shout out, 2 shout outs. Number one, TM Reviews and all his mask stuff. He has done a phenomenal job interviewing and talking about masks, and that video is over 60,000, maybe 70,000 by now. Plus, I watched this live stream through Deluxe Baldwin. And Matthew Deluxe Baldwin, first live stream he did, and I gotta say the audio from the presenter was the best I've seen in a while. So good job, Deluxe. And anyway, 6-shot. The only one I have is Mcfarlane's Toys, heavily stylized. This is very, very G1, and a win to me. All right, let's get into Fans Toys Fantastic Model, which I'm guessing Fantastic Model would be what they use when they make a Bumblebee. Now, I predicted a mini bot, but I guess a car bot's close enough. And this is, of course, saying who's X Transbots, DX9's our new frenemy. And I'm going to say, I'm going to go on record. DX9 still looks better. I'm just saying that. I'm going to upset a lot of fanboys out there. But look at the kibble on the arms. Look at the kibble on the legs. Look at the way it's all put together. It doesn't look as good as what DX9 did. Now, once it's painted and side by side with the presentation that Fans Toys can do, it will hold its own. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It's going to hold its own. There's elements of this, once it's done, that's going to be like, wow, it does have a presentation factor. But at the end of the day, it might not even be a better design. And why did they abandon all the other things they're working on to go after this when DX9 had success? Let DX9 breathe. Well, I'm going to tell you something else. I have DX9s, and I'll be in my 50s before this is released. The alt mode is really awesome. This looks clean, amazing, and this might be one of the few. Oh, I've got the Sea Spray Fans Toys in alt mode. I might leave Fans Toys in alt mode. I'm not joking. I'm not lying. It might win the alt mode. I'm serious. That's probably, I'll get it, review it, leave it in alt mode. May sound kind of crazy. You're going to do that with a Fans Toys offering. But I don't think it's going to beat DX9. And I think that they're pushing their weight around in the wrong place. Just me. Now, here we go with some Constructicons. I do not like the feet. I don't care if it's accurate, perfect, exactly as it should be. It looks goofy. The feet look ridiculously goofy. And do you want to know why I don't care? Is because I'm going to have this one in combine mode. So all I care about is combine mode. I've already made my mind up. Alt mode looks pretty good on this one. Which, not all their alt modes look the greatest. But this one looks great. It looks good. Which is kind of like a preface for how will it look in combine mode. This is up against some of the other offerings they have coming. Seems like they're putting a lot of emphasis on this Devastator again because they started fighting X Transbots before DX9 got in their way, so they want to keep that fight going. And I'm gonna do Fans Toys combined, X Transbots and bots, but I'm still gonna do. I'm trying to do the toy version. I don't have the opportunity yet to get all the toy versions, but I think I'm gonna keep up with the toy version. So I'm gonna have one in X Transbots in bot and one in combined, and then Fans Toys combined. No Fans Toys and bots. Here is their Calatrava 32D, and it looks pretty good. Is it better than what X Transbots did? Well, it's hard to tell from this sort of render, but it'll be fun to have it in hand, side by side. Looks good in its alt mode. It looks. I'll guarantee this. I make very few guarantees in life. It will be more solid in alt mode than the X Transbots. My guarantee. Do I care? No, not really. I do not care. Here's another picture here, and another one of these, and here it is in the alt mode. So, again, I'm not going for bot. I'm not going for alt. I think they both look okay, but they've done some sliding extension stuff to it, which is necessary to match the cartoon, which again is what I want. Fans Toys is delivering what I want, and here's another picture of colored renders, and you have options depending if you want the head with the box in it or without the box, without the box, and those kinds of things. Then we get into combine mode, and I'm fine. This is what I want. This is right up the alley of what I want. It is not as anemic as New Age, and I've seen pictures of X-Transbots. Looks a bit on the anemic side. This feels solid. It feels like what you want, and I like it. I do. It's better than even the Magic Square, which people tout as the best version. I feel it's going to be solid. I feel it looks good. This is what I want, and sorry, Toy World, and your 27 iterations. I think Fans Toys will win the combine mode. You're going to have different options and stuff. I'm not showing every picture out there, but I think this is important to see the difference in the chest piece and how you want to set it up. And then heads. Fans Toys always gives you lots of head. I mean, you pay for it. You definitely pay for it. Nothing in life is free, my friends. And then here it is with another angle. And yeah, these are still kind of renders, line drawings and stuff. Looks phenomenal. I am not going to be disappointed in this combined mode. I can already tell. Now we get into MMC Ocular Max. I think the only showing? Is this the only? No. Well, it's the only new showing. I'll show the old stuff, but very impressed with this. Popping out of a toaster. It's crazy. This is exactly what you need out of an exclusive. Not everybody wants a green version of Ravage that they call whatever they call this thing. Shadow Fang. I'm not going to buy this. I don't want it. I have no interest. I love Ravage. A green Ravage does sound cool, but I don't want to spend $100 or whatever it is to get one of these. And that's exactly what an exclusive should be. Only so many people want it, so don't make it a full production run. Make it a limited run. And those who really want it will seek it out and pay the money. Perfect. Now we got this. I thought this combiner was done. I thought the Devastator was done with MMC. The problem, if I don't continually buy it and review it and stay up, I'm not 100% up with where they are on every project. So that's my shortcoming, I guess, in life. That's why I'm in so many things. It's how I keep my knowledge base up. But I guess this is the last one. It looks good. It's a hook. This is built looking good. I don't like the waist midsection. The rest of it looks pretty decent. For all-in-one, probably the lowest priced version that's out there, and it's 18 inches tall. So there you go. I don't really have a problem with it, but I'm not in on it at all. Fans Hobby making this Obsidian Blade MB25A, and it looks good. As Matthew Deluxe Baldwin said, he's reviewed the red, white, and blue version already on his channel, so check it out. And I know that because I watched his live stream of this. Thank you, Matthew Deluxe Baldwin, for live streaming that. This is what we talked about at Show Z earlier, but we've got a little bit more in the picture area. Jetfire is one of my favorite characters, but I don't really have any attachment to this iteration or this era of him, so I don't buy it. But I can say it looks cool in both modes. It looks cool. You know, James Dean might not think so, but it does look pretty cool. And then getting into this MB32, I like the colors. I like how it looks. There's front and the back view. We've seen this before, though, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. And then here is the jet mode, and yeah, it looks good. You can put the sword on the back. I like weapon storage that works. Then you can take it and you can armor it up. So, like, take this, add this armor, and then you get, they call it shell off, shell on mode. Shell on! And you get this, which I think this looks phenomenally better. The shell on it looks way better than it does when it's in its skimpy mode. I like all the superheroes beefier than scrawny, you know? Then they talked about this MB10, which is appears to be a G2 Megatron. All of the Megatrons starting into the tank started at G2 and shortly after G1. By the way, I do have the KO original G1 coming in from Show Z Store, TH Reviewer Code, to review, and I'm excited for that. I also want to show this picture here. This was Chosen Prime. I'm going to give some props to Chosen Prime. They continually keep this third-party panel going. They do a great job with it. And then looking at this display, it's just to get excited about what's out there now and their stuff they're selling. And I love looking at this. They do a great job with all of that. They do a lot for the community, far more, and I don't even buy anything from them, sadly. But I will say, Chosen Prime, very, very solid. And if you want to buy some stuff, go there too. I just like to get them a little cheaper, and I'll wait a little longer. But they will get them faster than ShowZ. They won't get them cheaper. One of the things Hasbro has put out in their Studio Series checklist here is the Studio Series checklist. This is so much fun. It's an homage to original G1. And one of the problems with putting together something like this is the fact that they've made, 11,000 figures over the years. And to just, you can't fit that many figures on this. But to say just Studio Series 86 checklist, here it is. And you can do this. And it's such a fun homage to have a checklist and just say, hey, yeah, I'm gonna be in on this checklist. It's fun. It's great. Thanks to all of you that told me last week about this dramatic capture series being the Origins. I did not know that from the shadow pictures and the fact that literally I'm overloaded. I'm overloaded with news. If all I did was Transformers, I probably would have figured that one out, but I've got so much else going on. So many poles in the water, so to speak, but this is mostly for people overseas that didn't have a Target and didn't walk in and buy them for $7 on clearance at Target. So that spelled out to me. I agree. You are correct. It's good to make them available to people in the rest of the world, but I have these 3 times over from clearance prices. So this picture is, now I gotta do all the stuff. It's from Australia, from Joe Master 2. And it's the stuff that's coming out for the Age of the Primes, Wave 1, Voyager, and Leader in Australia. But what caught my eye is I really thought, like, what is this? Is this a cup? Prima Prime looks like it could be a cup. And I kind of feel like, just glancing at this, I was going to not even talk about it, but it does feel like it could be a cup in the future. A remold to a different cup. So this is a bittersweet topic for me. Devastator, I think it's going to be... I think overall it's going to be a better version than what we got with Combiner Wars. It's going to be smaller though, but it's going to be a little better in some ways. And I've got 2 pre-ordered of everything. Now, problem is, I asked my son if he wants me to keep up with it, and he said, no, he's out. I'm out, Dad. He turned 14. This is kind of emotional for me. He doesn't want to collect Transformers anymore. And so both my kids are done collecting toys. And I can still have conversations with them about it, but it's like they don't really care. It sucks. But this here, he was excited for it. By the time the pre-orders came out, he said, nah, not for me. And I'm kind of sad. It still looks good. You know, I need to check it out and look at the price of this thing. This is another Dramatic Capture series set. And it is Starscream, Blitzwing, Astro Train. And the thing is that you might not be able to find these at retail at all. Or BBTS might have one or not all. Starscream was selling for $15 at Ollie's, Ross, and all those places. So, but the other 2, not so cheap, not so easy to get. Probably expensive on secondary market. So it might be a good set. But this is how it looks. A little bit different colorization, and I do like the colors of these better than the previous ones. Alright, so this stuff like literally dropped right after I made my news last week. So it's been a week. It's a week old stuff. Anyway, we've got the Transformers Age of Prime's Vortex, meaning they're making a Bruticus. And then the Wrecking Doom, Fistitron, and Carnivac 2-pack. Then they've got the Alchemist Prime, and then Crasher, which we've seen reissued, or just plaguing Ross and Ollie's. Anyhow, what I care most about is they're making a Bruticus, You got the Vortec, so I'll be in on that. Alright, so I'm going to slide into some other news here, and I gotta say that I like what's going on with Jada Toys and their Street Fighter line. And I'm in on all of it. I love all of it, but I have this pre-ordered through Gundam It, and I think it's fine. But I'm already, in my mind, comparing it to the Storm Collectibles $109 figure. And I think that is a serious problem. To compare a $25 figure to a $109 figure, I will do it in my video, but I'll keep in mind price point. I think it looks good. I do. And I'm curious about the size. So here's a leak image of Super 7 Python Patrol Bat in the plus or O-ring style. And I'm on board with this. I'm going to be really struggling to keep it under wraps. Brian has already said that they're putting out more of the blue comic version, which has been proven to be the least popular at the end of the day. So I'm sure that'll get overproduced and then go on sale. But I don't really need a blue bat. I'd rather have this. I'd rather have the original bat. This and the original bat. I'm excited for this. And I'll make room on my original vintage Python Patrol shelf for this guy. He belongs there. Alright, Mythic Legions. I'm going to get into this so I just don't forget. There's so much going on, I might forget. But this dragon they're making, 4 Horsemen, let me just step it back. 4 Horsemen have done an amazing job with the classics, Master of the Universe. And still, I think 80 or 75 to 80% of the classics figures still reign supreme. I mean, I'm looking at a whole lot of things going on, which I'm going to make another video, and I'll talk about that. But just looking at their Scare Glow, it's still way better than anything that Hasbro's put back out. Or Mattel? Mattel. So, 4 Horsemen wins this one. But $550 for this dragon, I mean, I saw the $550. I didn't even see the 2 figures, but I'm like, yeah, still, $550 is too much for me. I'm going to spend $300 on the Tmnt, 5-headed Tmnt, that you get from Super 7. I might buy a second one of those too, but I'm out on this, even though it looks magnificent. Alright, so looking at all of this stuff, so you get the add-on for the fire-breathing head, the extra clear figure, whatever that is, extra wings, and all that stuff, and it starts adding up. What does it add up to? Well, Hebro made a video explaining what it adds up to. I think he's still going to buy it, though. I think he's buying it. He's in on it. I was out at $550. $1,092.70, and his tax rate's probably lower than... Let me calculate my tax rate. Oh, I'm sorry, Hebro. Your tax rate's a little higher than mine. I pay 9%, and mine was like $1,076. Anyway, still, this is $1,092 for a dragon. It's big, it's massive, but I'm out. I was out at $550. I'm double out? Double out. Alright, carryover news from last week. Neca Tmnt. They've got their own version of the what would have been a live-action movie version of Rocksteady and Bebop. They look like they should, I guess, but I'm really excited about a Blade and some other stuff coming up. I have to show this picture. This picture of NECA's Sesame Street. I truly 100% believe that everything NECA does one-ups anything any other company's doing with Sesame Street. NECA, I can not sing their praises high enough for the stuff that they do. I do want to say that NECA has, I feel they screwed us on Dungeons & Dragons and stopped. They screwed us on Back to the Future and stopped. So it's kind of like, it's amazing. They're the best in the game, and then they stop. And I understand, it's all about the almighty dollar. I understand that. The almighty dollar in demand. Enter the Blokey. So we know $35 to $38 for NECA, but how much will these be? And they don't look anywhere near as good. Do I think, okay, let's call NECA's an 8.5 on the Richter scale here, and I'd put these at a 6. So that's not too much. If these are 20 each, I don't know the price yet. But at 20 each versus 35, these would be a very good option if you're into Sesame Street. I know I'm going to get a count. And I know I'm going to get a gag gift for my wife with an Oscar the Grouch. But past that, a Big Bird, and I saw Ernie. I saw Ernie at Target and passed. But it looked phenomenal. I just don't know how deep I'm going to get into this. It's a touch your toe into it kind of line for me. Loyal subjects showed off their My Pet Monsters, and I did not even have these pictures available to me last week. But I'm glad I didn't show them because I thought this stuff was full size. It's like 70% scale. It's scaled down 1/3. 1/3 smaller. So when we were kids, they were full size. Now we're twice, some of us are like 3 times the size of the time we were when we were kids. And then this thing's a third smaller. It's not going to feel right. Let me tell you this, loyal subjects, I will support you on everything. Go full scale as the originals. I know you're taking risks, but if you dumb it down, the risk is exponentially higher that this will fail. And I want to see it succeed, and I want to support it, and I'll buy everything you make for this. If you make the full scale. I'll probably still buy everything anyway, but I don't think it will succeed as a dumbed down version. Are we back to NECA again? Okay, back to NECA. I didn't realize that they were making an actual Jaws shark. I like it. They're making, of course, characters from Jaws, all that fun stuff, but I will probably get a shark. If I see it in Target or Walmart, it's one of those things that I don't need it at all whatsoever, slightly, partially. But the emotions from seeing it in person will make me buy it. And, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not really very happy with Keaton. Not happy with you, Keaton. I don't think I'm buying any of your modern Beetlejuice. Alright, enough about Puppet on a String news. We're talking about some Diamond Select toys going bankrupt. Diamond Select comic distribution toys all being sold off in whole parts, but hey, they're still working on what's going on here with some Lord of the Rings stuff, and the figures suck. They're not very good. I have Diamond Select figures. I've got their Tron figures. They suck. But I don't care because they don't need to pose like a Spider-Man. They need to stand there and look really boring on your shelf because that's what they do in the movie. If that's what they do in the movie, stand there and look boring, then it's a success, right? So they talked about Dungeons and Dragons. I guess this is a statue of sorts. It looks kind of weird. But then they're making those little bitty guys that they do, the little ones. They look okay, I guess. I've kept up with the sets, but I didn't buy the Evil set just yet. And here is another angle of those, and you see the weird thing with all the eyes. So when I paid $568 for the LJN version, wait, what? That's not part of LJN? Just kidding. Yeah, they're making up their own stuff, which is cool. By the way, they're adding to the lore. It's cool, and these sets are not very. They're like $40, but you get like 5 or 6 figures in it. I'm okay with that. All right, Joy Toy is announcing that they're going to do King of Fighters 98 figures. I'm going to admit I played this game very little, but I played it on Neo Geo Pocket, which was kind of the cartoony, super deformed look, and I would not collect that anyway. So good on you going for this version. And I might pick up 1 or 2 if they look cool, but I'm not really into the franchise. But I'm glad it's happening. We have talked a little bit about this last week, but now this is official promo images from Nacelle, and I gotta say the Star Trek Expanse, and all the other things they're doing, Nacelle's doing a great job. These look phenomenal. They are 6-inch, 1/12 scale, and they're going to be about $30 a piece. And I think that today, this day and age, that is the correct price point. They're not remaking all the same stuff that's made before. They're making different stuff, which I think is smart. I will say, though, I did watch the 3POA podcast with Bobby Vala on it, and Laser Pants, and it's Chad, or Chad, just Chad. And I've got to admit that they're right in the fact that a lot of these franchises that Nacelle's scooping up are not really like mega hits. But I will say this. Where's the Power Lords? Bring the heat with the Power Lords. Nobody asked Brian Volkweiss about the Power Lords. And I wish somebody would have, because I want to know what's going on. I want to know, Brian, what's going on with Power Lords. All right, Storm Collectibles and Storm Arena. So we've got Storm Collectibles, which it equals the $100 price point, with Final Fight Michael Hagar, the Final Fight Cody Travers, the Ultra Street Fighters 2 new challengers T-Hawk. I remember playing T-Hawk. It's kind of fun. Ultra Street Fighters 2 new challengers M. Bison, previously announced, and Street Fighter 6 Zangief. $100 plus figures. Now Storm Arena, $30, $27 figures. Sagat, Dan Hibiki, Chun-Li, Morrigan Esland, and Lilith. So there we go. Quick update from Storm Collectibles and Arena. And I gotta say, it's gonna be tough picking between Storm Arena and Jada because they're both great. Scooby Dooby Doo, where are you? You know, when I was talking about Jada earlier, I wanted to talk more about what they're doing, and I literally forgot what else are they into. It's kind of interesting. They're doing Scooby Dooby Doo, and I saw them at Walmart, and they had the Mystery Machine, they had them, but they were like a 5-inch scale or something. These are full-on 1/12 scale, I believe. And then we have one of the Scooby-Doo monsters. If you lived in the 80s, then you loved these things. They're $30 a piece, shipped in July of 2025, and it'd be a fun line to collect. I don't really see a problem with it at all. And then there's the Mummy, which I think my picture's only going to show all three of them together. Let me get a picture of the Mummy up. And there it is. So, looks like fun. Scooby-Doo's been tried in the past, but Jada, I think, will be a smash hit. All right, so last week I promised a Masters of the Universe breakdown video, and I gotta tell you that I went to go look for stuff to make that. I looked for news and information, and more stuff was coming out, I gotta say that Scott Knightlick, everyone's a Brian. Scott Knightlick was wrong in the end of this, but right at some points. And so with that, I need to make a whole video about this. There's so much coming out, but nothing at all seems to be selling out for Master of the Universe lately. And you could say that's a good thing for the consumer. It's good for the collector. It's bad for the future of the line. I need to make a video about this. Now, I'm going to buy this hero. I'm going to get into all of that. The Club Grayskull, $9.99. And I've been looking at this from the spectrum of somebody who needs to buy more than one to make the $7 shipping worthwhile. $15 figures are $20 plus $7 shipping. Do you realize that you're paying Classics prices for some Origins figures that still are not on Classics levels? But I will still commend Mattel for doing a good job with the line. And nothing is sold out on Mattel Creations, which is a good and a bad thing for collectors. Oh, good old Toddy Mac lost the DC license and doesn't want to admit it. But he's going to go down swinging with a bunch of stuff. I mean, he's got 73 more Batmans planned between now and the middle of 2026. The weird thing is that he's finally giving us the Dr. Fate we've always wanted, and that's a shocker. So I'll probably get that. If I don't, I don't. I mean, it's not going to end my life if I miss it. But I can't remember. I bought one Superman in the last 2 years. That's all the Mcfarlane I bought. That and hit and miss on superpowers, and it's superpowers is irritating and not at all satisfying. So there's a lot of issues with all that. I think he'll continue superpowers, but Mattel takes over. I like Mattel because I remember all the stuff that Mattel had. If I waited, it went on clearance for $5. So Mattel's great. Did you miss out on the Castler? Did you say that $650 was too much plus shipping? $750 was too much. Did you say that? Did you say that you're going to find it cheaper at BBTS? Well, you're wrong on that, but $1,000 is not really all that bad plus tax. So you're looking at $1,100, $1,090, and then free shipping. Well, $4 shipping, and then it can go to your house. You have to live in the U.S. and you have to say, "I've got the cash." Funny, this shows up during tax return season time. It's odd. Tax return. Spin it on a cat slayer. Phenomenal cat. I haven't opened mine yet, but maybe I'll get to it sometime this year. Alright, well, this news is getting long in the tooth, so let's get into Star Wars and wrap it up. But I gotta tell you that everybody else that talks about Star Wars has been talking about Kathleen Kennedy, how they ousted her and she's right back. And she's done everything in her power to try to ruin Star Wars with her, what you could call agenda. But I think that if you want to be happy in life, focus on what makes you happy. Do you know my channel's called the Tidarium Hangar? The Imperial Shuttle Tidarium is well, it's not my favorite, but among my favorite parts of Star Wars. But I feel like it was that important that I would name my channel after it. I love this vehicle. I had at one point 18 of them, of the vintage ones and the bigger ones. I only have like a dozen, eight of the smaller ones. And with that, I'm excited for this. I buy every iteration of the shuttle I get my hands on. And I'm excited if I can get them, and then I put them up in my display and all that kind of stuff. But this looks phenomenal. From a Imperial Shuttle lover, this is phenomenal. It comes with the crew also. $30. So I want to say a few things about this. The retro collection isn't the best thing Hasbro's ever done, but it's not bad. This is decent. Instead of $10 a figure, now it's like $12 a figure. They look pretty good. I'm going to get each set of retro collection they put out and stay up on it. As long as they're giving us the original trilogy, it's a no-brainer. I love them. The stuff based off the modern stuff, I watched the Andor trailer and I was literally bored watching it. My wife told me we're not watching that. And she's usually the one that controls the TV. I actually don't care because I can watch literally anything that's ever been created in the entire world at a moment's notice through my means. But with this, I probably will not watch Andor 2, but I will buy this. Alright, so if you stuck with me long enough, then I guess you get some juicy stuff in the news. Chris Cox, who is a big fan of Deke Entertainment. If you don't get the joke, I can't spell it out for you, DIC, any better than that. But anyway, prices for Star Wars toys to substantially increase in the U.S. soon because of tariffs. Now, I've done a whole video showing absolutely nothing whatsoever in the toy collecting community has even been slightly partially even affected by these tariffs yet. And I was told, you don't know what you're talking about. The picture you show doesn't know what it's talking about. The facts are not facts, but yet they are facts. $1 is $1, a pound's a pound, and I'm right in every single word that I said talking about tariffs, 100%. Nothing has affected the toy community, and Bobby Valla even doubled down on that. He said, we don't even know if it will affect the toy community specifically. It's going to affect lumber. It's going to affect other things. It's going to affect a lot of things that can be produced in the U.S. already and sustain life in the U.S. It might not affect toys, but still, it hasn't yet. But Mr. Cox said, we're going to raise prices. Now, they raised prices during COVID, and the prices have not come down. They put the crappy boxes on there, which was ridiculous, and removed the window. And they've ruined a whole entire 2.5 years of production runs with garbage boxes. And now people are like, what's in the box? So keep it sealed, and you don't know if it's really that or a banana's in there rotting away. So, there's so many bad things going on, and now let's take advantage of this and rub our hands together and let's raise prices. And let's get another margin. Let's get up to 89.7% margin, which doesn't really exist, but let's try to do that on the backs of this tariff stuff. But the reality of it is nothing has happened yet to affect toys. I said that, a month and a half ago? And it still hasn't happened yet. And everything I said was true. But yet I still have people saying, you don't know what you're talking about. The facts you throw in our face, I'm not even going to look at. What kind of person is that? You know what kind of person that is? That's a Chris Cox kind of person. Let me know what you think about this week's Weekly News and Review. And of course, Bobby Valla said he's not going to raise prices with any tariff stuff. Will not cause him to raise prices, because if you have to raise prices because of the tariffs, that means you've run your business wrong. You go, Bobby Valla. I'm backing you up, even though I don't really collect your stuff. Like and subscribe. Tell your hanger out.